Imagine you're in your early or mid-teens and like any other young teenager, the world for you probably is watching your favorite cartoons, riding your bike and belting out your favorite songs. Now, one of India's youngest sporting sensations, of course, likes all this. He binges probably on Tom and Jerry, goes on detours around the sleepy industrial township of Paddy in West Chennai, has a blazing red bike which he never stops riding. But what sets him apart that he is also the youngest international master, the youngest Indian and the second youngest in the world to reach 2600 ELO ratings. He's the fifth youngest Grandmaster in the world. And on February 22 at around 3 a.m. India time, he became the youngest player to beat World Champion Magnus Carlsen. If you haven't guessed it yet, then we are talking about Ramesh Babu Praggnanandhaa, the 16-year-old chess prodigy who is looking to become the king of his sport. And to talk about his career and what the future holds for him, we are joined today by someone who has followed very closely the rise of Prag as a prodigy, Sandip Gopal. Sandip, first of all, welcome to the show.
Hi man, thank you.
And it's been a crazy week for sport. With the invasion of Ukraine, with the test matches, cricket returning to Pakistan, Virat Kohli's 100th match. But we are talking about Praggnanandhaa. Can you start by explaining what is so special about him?
Now, when you look in the context now, he has become the youngest player ever to beat Magnus Carlsen in any format. Though it might have come in rapids, format which Praggnanandhaa really likes. It's a big deal. I mean, because a lot of us, including Viswanathan Anand, has tried to beat him in this format and couldn't. And then, besides that, he's the youngest international master, as you said. And then he became the Grandmaster. He was the third fastest to that mark. And now he's the fifth. So there are a lot of things that sets this boy apart from the rest of the 16-year-olds in the world, maybe. The 16 is a time usually a sporting career. It's just the time you start.
Yeah.
If you're a footballer, you're in an academy coming through the rungs. And then if you're a cricketer, you're not even in your under 19 team. Though in chess, the age limits are a little beneath. But still, no, he has started playing chess since he was 9. And from 10, he was meeting the professionals around the world. So to have that composure, to have that tenacity to beat these guys, these tried and tested guys, beating 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds. I mean, it's a big deal. India is starting this Indian Chess League also sometime later. So, I mean, all these things all go well for Indian chess.
It is damn interesting. But before we dive deep into Praggnanandha's story, Sandeep, can you explain what is a Grandmaster? Like, how does one become a Grandmaster in chess?
Firstly, he has to cross his 2500 ELO rating.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a little complicated criteria. And then he has to get 2 norms. That is, he needs to have 2 favorable results from 27 games. When you hear like 2 favorable results out of 27 games, it sounds very smooth, but it's actually not. Because there are again a certain norms, like at least 33% of your opponents should be Grandmasters. Then at least 50% of them should have won some FIDE title. And then your opponents should have an average ELO rating of 2,380. And then again, then it should beat opponents from 3 different countries also.
That sounds extremely tough. Yeah, I didn't think it was so tough to get a GM norm. But now, like when we talk, I was just Googling and I looked at the basic stat, which was, I guess, in one of the explainers that you wrote. Like out of millions, there are fewer than 2,000 Grandmasters in the world. That is a very skewed number.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like when you look at test cricketers with more than 8,000 runs, there are very few of them, maybe 20 of them, 25 of them. It's almost like that.
Or probably test cricketers who go on to play 100 test matches, given Kohli is just doing that.
Test matches, yeah. 12 Indian cricketers have done that before him, I guess, of maybe around 300 cricketers. So
it is incredible.
Yeah.
So Praggnanandhaa is now the second youngest chess grandmaster, I think, an Indian second youngest.
Yeah.
What, he was 12 years, 10 months and 13 days old.
Yeah.
If I'm right.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how did his journey begin, Sandeep? Like, I mean, it's interesting because it didn't start with him, right? It was his sister that first got to the sport.
Yeah, they don't have any kind of a chess background, as you say. I mean, Chennai has actually a good chess tradition, and like your grandparents play, you play, your great grandfathers play. It was not that in their case because his parents hardly knew chess. And then when Vaishali was around 4 or 5, she started playing chess out of just curiosity. Like a couple of friends told her, like introduce her to the game, and then she got hooked into it. And then she was doing so well that they thought, okay, they enroll her in an academy in T Nagar, which was handled by R Ramesh, another grandmaster. So gradually with the sister, he also started playing, and then initially for fun, initially just to beat her, and then he also started becoming serious, and then he also joined RV Ramesh. Then it was easy for the dad also. I mean, he could take both of them to their academy and leave them there. You leave them in the morning, they don't have any hassle in looking after two kids. So he's working in the Indian Bank in Chennai. So that was a routine for them. And then gradually both of them started to win FIDE rated events in Chennai. Almost every other week there is a FIDE rated state level chess championship or district level chess championship. So the exposure was immense. Like every week you're playing chess. Every weekend you are meeting somebody. And there are good players like, for example, B. Adipan, Narayan, and all these guys play this competitive chess in district level and state level chess. So that was great exposure. So both of them actually learned the tricks pretty fast. And there was always this hunger for him to try different variations, to learn more. He's always chew on the ears of RV Ramesh. So basically that was it.
It's fascinating, the chess culture that you say in Chennai. It's almost like football league kind of thing, where every weekend you play and through the week you practice. So Praggnanandhaa gets into this system, and he is, I think, 7 or 8 years old when he earns his title of FIDE master.
Yeah.
But Sandeep, when's the first time that his talent actually gets noticed?
When he became the fastest international master, I think he was around 10 or 9.5. That was when people started taking notice of him. Like, oh, here is a chess prodigy. And in a place like Chennai, which is obsessed with chess masters and chess, all this thing, it was a big deal, and he became an overnight sensation there.
Do chess players have styles? Like, does Praggnanandhaa have a playing style, so to say?
Yeah, broadly speaking, he's a very aggressive kind of a guy. Like, he's sometimes self-destructive in that way. Like, he embraces too many risks, Maybe it's with the age also. A bit restless kid anyway. So sometimes he tends to act pretty fast. And very aggressive openings and middle games also he sometimes sustains. That it's end game that once Ramesh told me that he has to improve a bit. Sometimes end games are not hasty end games. Generally, it's very careful. Because an end game, all three results are possible still. I mean, you can draw the match, you can lose the match, you can win the match also. But he always goes for the win. And in pursuit of the victory, he might actually lose a game that could be a draw. Draw also yields a lot of points in chess. That's why he's extremely successful in rapids, maybe more than the classical version, because he makes fast moves. He's a very aggressive kind of a guy that way. And he prefers those variations also. Like, he used this Tarshaft variation against Magnus Carlsen, which was quite aggressive and something he hasn't used much before. So he likes to gamble also a bit here and there.
So his rise has been rapid. Like, in 2013, he won the Under-8 World Youth title. In 2015, he won the Under-10 World Youth title. In 2016, he became the youngest international master. His record was then broken by Abhimanyu Mishra, another Indian, in 2019.
Yeah.
Then in 2018, he became a Grandmaster, as we discussed, at 12 years, 10 months and 13 days. 2019, he won an Under-18 youth title, and his rise now looks complete. Then, of course, COVID hit, and the chess world kind of went topsy-turvy. Everything went online. But Sandeep, something happened in the last week of February, which again brought Praggnanandhaa to the World Chess Fraternity's center. Now, we spoke briefly about his win over Magnus Carlsen on February 22.
Yeah.
What is it about that match which kind of gained so much attention? I mean, Prime Minister Modi tweeted about him. Sachin Tendulkar did that. The entire world, it seemed, was looking at that result and going gaga over it. But can you kind of put the entire thing in perspective?
It was like, world number 150 beating Roger Federer in his peak. Like,
wow, that's massive then.
Yeah, that is massive. Like, when you look at it, Praggnanandhaa is still not into the top 100. He's still around 125, 130. He's like some 200 yellow points behind Magnus Carlsen. And then Magnus Carlsen has been like a world champion. He's one of the gods of this game. A lot of people think he's the greatest of all time. So to beat him, and he had a slump in between, but he also bounced back strongly and he won the world championship. So he was also in pretty good form. And for a player like whose FIDE ratings is like beyond 100, to beat him is a massive achievement. And it could be a stepping stone for, like, he needed a confidence booster somewhere, because the last few years, he's been meeting a lot of players in this 2,600, 700 range, and he was like not finding favorable results. So this is an ideal kind of a boost for him, like, to perceive.
So Praggnanandhaa did not go on and qualify for the quarterfinals of that tournament. He finished 12th in the 16-player tournament. But then again, he has been notching up very important wins often now. So before Carlsen, he had beaten Lev Aronian, which I guess I was watching one of Praggnanandhaa's interview, and he rated the win over Aronian better than the win over Carlsen, which again kind of explains his mindset. He also has defeated Vepisenko and Artimev. All these guys have ELO ratings above 2,700.
Yeah.
But Sandeep, like this win and the spotlight on Praggnanandhaa, like it is a double-edged sword, right? I mean, he's still 16. Of course, we don't know how he'll develop as a player. He's showing all the promises of becoming a very good one, but still at a very tender age. Now, before we get to you, there's this thing that Magnus Carlsen said about Praggnanandhaa and the need to protect him. We'll just hear that first and then come to you, Sandeep.
Yeah, sure.
I think he's shown a lot of promise over the last few tournaments, both here and also in Vacances. He clearly has a lot to learn, but he's on the right track, and the more time and space he can be given to develop at his pace, then the better. But he's
So Sandeep, just this bit about handling spotlight. Now, chess players often seem to be in their own little world. Like Vishy Anand over the years hasn't got carried away by all the attention that's put on him, and so have the other chess players.
Yeah.
How do you look at the attention that Praggnanandhaa is getting, and is it kind of a double-edged sword as we discussed?
During his pursuit for that fastest Grandmaster norm, it was actually a bit of a burden for him because the media was building it up. He couldn't avoid hype around him. Like when he used to get phone calls almost every day from chess scribes or some well-wisher. And this fraternity is a very close-knit fraternity when everybody follows everybody else. So that was kind of little suffocating him. But once that the monkey was off the back, he was very happy. He was relieved. Once he attained the Grandmaster norm, the hype was a bit reduced. Now the hype again will be there because he's beaten Carlsen. But then he's like 5 years mature. He has played a lot of Grandmasters. He's beaten a few of them. So he's also now more composed. He's also now sort of immune to all this hype around him, and he knows how to take care of himself from all this fluff outside him. And he's in a nice environment also because like Anand has been like mentoring him for a while, and Ramesh is also his mentor. He's also a very calm person. So like he's been taken care of pretty well. When chances of a chess star getting lost is very difficult, when compared to somebody like an under-19 cricketer or a young footballer in Europe, the chances of a chess star blossoming is much more higher.
So it's very interesting that you mentioned Anand has been one of his mentors. Like what kind of a role has Anand played in Praggnanandha's career?
And there's always been this guiding force, like telling him what to do, telling him little things that matter, like little advice. It's not major overhaul of anything. Like it's just giving him the right guidance at the right time. And sometimes it happens that, okay, you like a variation very much, but you are not good at that and you try to use that. That is a pitfall a lot of chess players actually fall into. But Anand has made him a bit more self-aware, made him aware of his weaknesses as well as his strengths. So he plays to that.
So are we looking at Anand's successor when it comes to Indian chess, Sandeep, or is it like too big a claim to make so early?
Yeah, I think we have to wait a bit more. But when you say that Anand became a Grandmaster only after he turned 18. So when you compare age-wise, his achievements are massive, but he has to develop a bit more patience, like he has to polish his game in especially his end games a while too, and start beating these Grandmasters, these 2,700 rated Grandmasters more frequently. And somehow he should break into top 100 also in the next couple of years, and then he'll be set for a massive, I think.
Yeah. Just before we bring in our producer Shashank, when we speak about this, the need for him to break into top 100, I'm guessing now that the world is opening up, now that physical tournaments will start, it'll bring a different dimension to his games, I guess. So far, if I've understood the rules right, the online matches did not offer yellow ratings, so his rating also was stuck for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Now when he gets back to the circuit, perhaps he'll be targeting 2,700 yellow rating himself, Sandeep. Is it tough to get that far?
No. It's not tough. Like real events you play, the more Grandmasters you meet, and he certainly can beat Grandmasters. Like he beat Aronian beautifully that game. So he definitely has that quality and then the game to actually beat Grandmasters and get into 2,700 or even beyond that in future. But his ultimate ambition is to win a World Championship, which is incredibly difficult now that Magnus Carlsen is ruling the. He's like the heyday Roger Federer, winning everything. Who knows,
Praggnanandhaa will be the Nadal to Carlsen or the Djokovic to Carlsen.
And it's not just Magnus Carlsen. There are a lot of these teenagers also doing extremely well, like Ali Reza, the Iran-born French player, who's also 16, the same age as him. He's a world number 2. And it's ultra competitive circuit now. Like all of them are like not very old, so they are all very young. So that is another challenge he's going to get. Beating all these guys who are sort of contemporaries.
It'll be fascinating to see how these careers simultaneously rise. But Shashank, to bring you in, do you play chess? Are you a chess fan? Somehow I feel that you'd be a guy who does play a lot of chess.
I wish, man. I wish I was, because I'm interested in, I mean, you can't call chess a board game really, but like the fact that it's indoor and all these things, like I like the concept of it, but I've never got around to playing it really. I wish I did. But by the way, one thing I want to say is that you started the podcast saying that Praggnanandhaa is 16-year-old and then saying that he probably watching Tom and Jerry, which I'm thinking like up to he won't be watching Tom and Jerry. Like at 16, yeah, at 16 he's probably past.
No.
I still watch Tom and Jerry when I get time. Yeah? What's wrong in watching Tom and Jerry?
Unless Tom and Jerry is a euphemism for something, I find that hard to believe.
Oh God, ये तो अलग direction में लेकर जा रहा है ये.
Oh God, wicked thoughts. I never thought you were so wicked, man.
I know, seriously. And what other direction are you referring to, Shashank? अभी तो ये clearly बता ही दो अब.
नहीं, ये सब चीजें हम, ये family podcast है, हम इस पे नहीं जाएंगे. But I had a question for you, Sandeep. So when we're talking about Praggnanandhaa's match with Carlsen, like the fact that this was rapid chess, right? This was not the standard chess that is played. And that is sort of the caveat there that, Praggnanandhaa beat Magnus Carlsen, but it wasn't rapid chess. And in the other traditional sort of chess, he probably may not have been able to do that. I mean, we had this conversation earlier where you were saying that rapid chess is like the T20 of the chess world.
Yeah, it is.
But why is it that we mention that with a caveat? Because I'm guessing in the rapid chess, different sort of skills are used, and in traditional, there are different ones, right?
Yeah, it's just like, again, T20. I mean, T20 also, you need different skills now. You need to bowl the Yorkers a lot. You need to bowl the cutters a lot. You need to slog a lot. You need to play a lot of ram shots. They play all these fancy shots. But test matches, it's a patience game sometimes, no. Similarly, you can make an elaborate pattern. You can sit there for hours trying to just deciding on one definitive move. Basically, in classical format, you're just focusing on the next move. But Jose Capablanca said the decisive move. But in rapid move, you are like thinking a few steps ahead. So you can blunder here and there. And again, Magnus Carlsen also loves to take gambles in these big games. Like, he's somebody who used to be like Virendra Sehwag. You know, he goes for the big shots. Like, if he feels like he might actually see an avenue to win, but he tries to do a different thing. So it was that sort of game actually, because he also tried a couple of fancy moves he tried, and then he blundered. In classical format, it's incredibly difficult to beat Magnus Carlsen.
So I'm guessing in the chess world, people who are good at the rapid format but not good in the traditional format, they're not really seen as great players, right?
Magnus Carlsen is actually good in all three formats. But yeah, in rapid matches, he takes, I mean, not these in tournaments like these, you know, he at times prone to making a blunder or two. But otherwise, the World Rapid Championship and all is solid. He's a little risk averse also.
It's fascinating how these formats work in chess as well when you kind of explain it that way, Sandeep. But it's great to have you explaining this, I don't know, very complicated things in simple terms, as always, that you do. But thanks for joining us today, and thanks for listening to this week's episode. We'll be back again next week. Like we mentioned at the top of the episode, there's so much happening in the sports world right now that we won't run out of topics. So we'll be back with something new, something interesting again next week. Till then, keep listening to Express Sports Podcast and take care and adios.
You were listening to Express Sports by the Indian Express. This week's show was edited and mixed by Suresh Pawar and produced by me, Shashank Bhargav. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Podcasts and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.